F you legal. Don't talk shit. Don't bend over.
So now we turn to what to do when you're under arrest, what happens in a police station, and what you should do in a police station. At my workshops, there seem to be two classes of people who attend. Those who've already been arrested at least once, and those who never have been. Those who've been arrested understand what I'm talking about. They lap up the information I provide and say, why didn't I know this beforehand? They understand because they've been there. For all those who haven't been arrested, I will point out that at the point of arrest you're not going to be thinking straight. Your heart will be pounding and you'll be freaked out. So you've got to think about all these matters before you get into that situation. This segment of the video is all about equipping you with information so that when you're under arrest, the things that the police do to you and their processes whilst they're in the police station don't come as any great surprise. You will have thought about what you will do when you encounter this situation and how you will react. It won't make it any more comfortable or any more enjoyable for you, but it certainly will provide you with the information you need to best protect your legal rights whilst in police custody. When you get arrested, you'll know you're under arrest. The police are obliged to make it pretty plain to you. There are three elements to an arrest, but they normally go past in a quick blur, so you don't sort of differentiate them. But the three elements are the act of arrest, which is a policeman touching you somewhere on the body, normally on the shoulder or grabbing your arm, then informing you that you are under arrest, and then telling you why you're under arrest. After you're arrested, don't fight the coppers. Be polite. I know this won't come natural to a lot of, especially the young males out there, but it won't do you any good. The truth is, you cannot fight the coppers in a police station. They'll be baiting you to do so. Resist the urge. You don't fight coppers in a police station, you do it in a courtroom. It's the only appropriate place to do it. It's the only place you can possibly have a win. In a police station, all the cards are stacked against you. That's the way it's set up. If you do fight the coppers, either on the street or in a police station, then it's a good chance that the coppers will just pile more charges on you. There are three charges in particular that the police like to add on when someone's been arrested and they've been a hassle. The first of these charges, hindering police, means taking actions to make the police investigation difficult, to deliberately interfere with the process of investigation, or hindering the police in their duties. The second of these, which is pretty much everything that's physical, is resisting police. It's pretty straightforward, and the charge explains itself. Any physical resistance will result in a charge of resisting arrest. And further, offensive language is quite often tacked on. Police are, in the main, incredibly gentle souls, and they're so easily offended. If you let fly with an F and a C, then you're likely to cop a charge of offensive language. This is nowhere near as common as it once used to be. All of these three charges, hindering police, resisting arrest, offensive language, were quite often bundled together. They were known as the trifecta, and put onto pretty much every arrest where it was one of the usual suspects. It's not as common these days, but where the person who's being arrested opens themselves for these charges, then the police are still more than happy to lay them on. You be careful at the point of arrest. You don't need extra hassle. You've got enough as it is. So, be polite, be compliant, and make sure you're silent. Say nothing and sign nothing. And so now we come to the 3 golden rules of being under arrest. On arrest, the police will have read out the stipulated warning in whatever jurisdiction you're in. We all know it as a Miranda warning or a rights warning. You have a right to remain silent, they would have commenced. However, after the point of your arrest, right through until your release, the coppers will be doing everything they can to get you to obviate that right, to make you talk. Your job is to stay silent. The 3 golden rules are all about putting this in the forefront of your mind for the whole time that you're in the police station. You say nothing, you sign nothing, but you remain polite and compliant. The first thing that will happen after you get to the police station is the coppers will lead you in and put you in front of a charge sergeant. The charge sergeant is the person who's technically in control of the prisoners and is responsible for the well-being of the prisoners. The charge sergeant will check you. They'll take from you anything that they think that you might be able to use in a cell for self-harm. This includes suspenders, a belt, your shoelaces. Anything sharp will be taken from you. They'll take lighters, cigarettes, and any money and your wallet. All of these things will be put into clear plastic bags, and you'll have to sign a chit or a form with a list of all the things that they've taken from you. Print your name at the bottom of this form. Once this has all happened, they'll lead you into a cell. At some stage, they'll lead you out of the cell and into an interview room. The next section is entirely devoted to what you will do in this interview room, so I'll just bleep over that for the time being. But suffice it to say, the interview is the most significant part of your stay in the police station. Other things that are likely to happen to you whilst you're in police custody include perhaps they will do a line-up. This is very rare, an identity parade, but it doesn't just happen on telly. It does happen in real life. But if they do charge you, you will certainly be photographed and your fingerprints will be taken. Don't resist this process. It's just normal police practice. Unless you're a terrorist or a murderer or something that you really don't want the coppers to know about, then their photographing and taking your fingerprints will not be any skin off your nose. Whilst they're doing this, in the charge area, they will put you in the dock. This is another dangerous place for you. Lots of people who are put into the dock let their guard down. It's awful chatty, and it's a different sort of atmosphere in the charge area to what it is in the rest of the police station. And the people who are there often seem to think that, oh, this is casual and nothing serious will happen. No, don't approach it that way. Keep your wits about you. The coppers want you to speak. This is an opportunity for them to drag information out of you. Keep the 3 golden rules in the forefront of your mind. Say nothing, sign nothing, but be compliant and polite. after you've been charged, after they've taken your photograph and your fingerprints, they may put you back in the cell for a little while, but normally what they'll do is they'll just lead you straight through to a bench where you'll sign a self-recognizance or a bail form. This form you will sign because it'll help you get the hell out of there quicker. Remember, all the way through this process, the police will be doing everything they can to get you to obviate your right to remain silent. Your job in police custody is always to try and get out of there, having provided the police with as little information as possible. You may have wondered along the way why one of the 3 golden rules is sign nothing, even though I've been pointing to at least 2 instances where you do sign something. The reason that this is one of the golden rules is because when you're in the interview room, I want this to be right in front of you at every moment. The need to not sign anything or say anything in the interview room. This is absolutely essential for your good legal health. Anything that you say in the interview room will be used against you. You won't be able to judge what should be said. You have no idea of what the police are intending to charge you with at times. Any stray bit of information provided to the police often can and will bolster a case against you. So the simple take-home message from this fact is that you just do not provide police with an interview. When they lead you into the interview room, they will sit you down and turn on all of the recording devices in the room. Then they will again read you your rights. They will say you have a right to remain silent. Then they will do everything they can to snatch that right back off you. There are some simple rules that you will employ whilst in the interview room. Keep it simple and you should come out the other side fairly safely. You will tell the police that you've received legal advice that you shouldn't talk to the police until after you've had a good natter with a legal practitioner. I'm sorry, I can't make a statement until I've talked to my lawyer. And then you repeat this, and you repeat this every time they ask you a question. As soon as they commence the interview, they will pull out a piece of paper and put it on the table. Then they will write and write and write regardless of what your response will be. What they're writing out is a statement of interview. Invariably, this is what they want you to have said. At the end of the interview, they'll slide this piece of paper across the table and say, "Sign here," as if it's no option. You do have an option. You do not sign this statement of interview. The truth is, unfortunately, virtually every person who's convicted in Western world countries are convicted on the strength of a self-signed statement of interview. They've walked into an interview room, the police have told them that they have a right to remain silent, and then they've signed a statement of interview which completely takes this right away from them. The police officer has slid a gun across the table, they've picked it up, and they've shot themselves in the head. If you sign a statement of interview, it really makes it difficult for your legal practitioner to do much, because invariably the coppers have looked at all of the elements of the crime that they have to prove, and then they've proved it on paper by your admissions. So, when in an interview room, be cool, calm, collected, and silent. It will drive the coppers crazy. They will constantly put pressure on you. They'll rattle your cage. And further, they will lie. Far too few people realise that the police are allowed to engage in deception when they're in the process of interviewing you. They can tell you a pack of bullshit, and they will tell you a pack of bullshit. This is all a strategy employed by the police to get you to throw away your right to remain silent. They'll present you with material that they say has been provided by one of your friends, by someone else at the location where you were taken into custody. Don't believe them. Remember, the sole thing that the coppers are trying to do in that interview room is to get you to talk your head off. It doesn't matter a jot to the police officer whether or not what they're saying is true or false. They're allowed to lie, and so they will engage in deceit. They will actively engage in it, sometimes right from the commencement of the interview. When the police provide you with information in an interview room, on paper or by way of photographs, don't even look at them. Don't read any document presented to you. You are not required to, and so don't. One of the easiest ways of approaching this is to say, look, I can't read without my reading glasses. If they go to read it out, then allow them to, but ignore them. The police are rattling your cage. Don't you get rattled. Since this is such a significant element of the video, now what I'll do is I'll provide a summary of what we've learned. You know what an arrest is. You know that you have to be very careful at the point of arrest to make sure that there isn't ammunition for the police to lay further charges. You know that you fight the police inside a courtroom, not in the street or in a police station. You also understand that because by far the majority of convictions happen because of a self-signed statement of interview, you aren't going to make that mistake. You know the 3 golden rules. You know that when you're under arrest, you say nothing, you sign nothing, and you're compliant and polite all the way through. You know this will drive the coppers crazy. So, when the police tell you a pack of lies during an interview, it's not going to rattle you. You'll just sit back, let it flow straight over you, and when you're released from that police station, you'll go and find a lawyer. You'll note that the very last element that I put up in the last section was to go and find a lawyer. If you have been arrested and charged with a crime, and you've done everything that you should do to guard your legal health while you're in police custody, then there's a very good chance that the lawyer will be able to assist you. Okay, you're probably not rich, and the law really is designed to service the needs of rich people. But still, you can find legal advice out there. Sometimes it's even free. Look in your yellow pages and see if there's a community legal centre near you. If you haven't got a lot of money, then go and see legal aid. If it's a criminal charge, they will assist you. And not all lawyers are arseholes. Lawyers sometimes don't speak the same language as your average everyday citizen, that's true. Some lawyers seem incredibly distant and out of touch. But almost all lawyers really do know the law. And there are a few lawyers out there who really will go out of their way to assist you. So don't be turned off by the fact that the man has busted you, so you've got to go and see an establishment figure to fix it up. And further, regardless of the outcome of the particular trial or this charge, you've got to get involved in looking after your rights. Go and find a group like the Hemp Party. Help End Marijuana Prohibition in Australia is all about agitating to make sure that you don't have to go through this, that nobody has to go through this. Yes, some aspects of our society are completely fucked up. But they'll never get fixed unless people like you and people like me get involved and agitate for change. The laws do change. They change very slowly, and they change because of the work of hundreds of thousands of people who are pissed off, get out and agitate for change. Don't be just a part of the problem. If you don't agitate for change, if you don't stick up for your rights, then you are a part of the problem. Get out there, vocalise your discontent, and become a part of the solution.